Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Antwon Reads. Holy shit, there are a ton of people in the chat already. Good God, who do we have here? Ben C, of course you're here, Ben. How's it going? Kaduntress, leave my dolls alone. Cookie Soda, how's it going? Sparky, hey, that's demon-esque cultural appropriation, Sparky. You can't say sup, bitches. The only one who can do that is the demoness. Trashfire, how's it going? Mitzi, Tom Leach, Wren, hello gorgeous. How's it going, Bug? Ali? Yes, do what Trashfire says. Like that stream. Hit the like button, share me around. Let's get this thing going. As you can see, I've added a couple of things to the stream. I'm getting used to using this OBS thing. It's very fun. We have the newest subscriber up. We have a ticker going. Well, Wren, my Valentine's Day was amazing. I was frightened at first because, well, the sisters grabbed Sarah and forced her into going dress shopping, getting a pedicure, and pretty much doing all the things that needs to have happen on a wonderful date. She got her hair done up, everything like that, and then we went out and, well, let's just say our Valentine's Day didn't stop for 24 hours. If you would ask Sarah, I'm sure she would tell you that our Valentine's Day, it had everything one could ask for. Good food, enjoyable company, acceptable music, and bloody goddamn violence. What else does one need for a successful first date? So yeah, I was a little worried about that, but it went off without a hitch. So, there's that. But how is everyone else doing? How is everyone else doing? Valentine's Day good, yeah? Because what, it's half price off chocolate day now. Yeah, food, murder, and sex is all you can really ask for. How's it going, Zar? Oh, don't be alone, that's not good. Working. I can't do anything for you about working, unfortunately. Sorry, I'm getting a couple of things going. You know what? Sarah didn't demand that I call her daddy. At all. Well... Zar, you go ahead and you send me your stuff, and I'll put it out there and see if we can't find you a girlfriend, okay? Yes, I know the scrolling banner isn't lined up at the box. Deal with it, Sparky. Yes, buy stuff, damn it. So, alright. It was a family day, long weekend here. Well, that's good. You fix it, Sparky. If I fix it anymore, it's not gonna... It won't stop there. And it won't, you know, it'll be too small for people to read. I want people who donate to be able to read their names. That's what it's up there for. So, Wren, you got Burger King. I mean, I guess everyone has their specific type of Valentine, yeah? Well, I happen to have one as well. I didn't get the normal chocolate. We did end up having a wonderful dinner, though. I did promise to not read any of Lena Dunham's book next time on Army of Snarkness. or else Sarah will kill me. And I don't want to die, so that's why I decided to do it today. Sarah is off doing whatever. Yes, Valentine's Day when you have kids. I can understand that. So, I'm trying to get through this book as fast as possible, because Ben C., the legendary Ben Cooper, is evil. There is many things that I didn't think I was going to have to experience, one of them being this book. But because Ben Cooper decided he wanted to pay for it, I'm going to read it. But, before I get to that, is there anything you guys want to talk about besides Valentine's Day? Is there anything fun, interesting going on? I know Sparky had an anime stream earlier, and he wants me to read the book until I drop dead. Well, you know what? Fuck you, Sparky. I'm not going to pimp you out. If you're subscribed to Sparky, go ahead and unsubscribe to him, and unfollow him on Twitter, and pretty much make his life miserable. He's not evil. He's ethically challenged. I haven't put that one up there before, but yeah, okay. How's it going, James? I am reading. Not That Kind of Girl from Lena Dunham. I'm already more than halfway through, thank God. Only a little bit, well, not a little bit, but enough left. So, what's his fucking name? The new hoax. I talked to Kaduntress about it today. The fuck is his name? Hold on, I've got to find it. Probably should have brought this up, had it ready, right? Jussie Smollett. Yeah, Jussie. Jussie, because he wants to be different and not spell his name correctly. He apparently is in some hot water. Lena Dunham, are you trying to give yourself a tumor? I mean, yeah, you're a physical manifestation of the internet, but hell, I wouldn't risk that. No, I wouldn't risk it either, but I'm going to. So, Jussie Smollett, apparently, went to the cops saying that he was attacked by a couple of Trump supporters in the dead of night during this polar snap that we're having in Chicago. That they attacked him with bleach. They said this is Trump country. Because, Chicago is very, very much Trump country. And on top of that, they put a string of, like cord, like, they put a cord or something, like the line that you hang your clothes on outside. Put it around his neck as he was coming out of the subway. Clothesline, thank you, yes. See, my brain is already being affected by the Lena Dunham reading that I'm about to do. So, he went to the cops with all of this. When you lose all logical faculty and must resort to screeching and screaming to things that make you scared, you are now a victim of the Dunham effect. Yes, the Dunham effect. So he came out of the subway, a subway. Yes, he had a Subway sandwich, and they apparently attacked him in the dead of night. Two white. I want to state that he said 2 white Chicagoans attacked him with bleach, tried to lynch him, beat his ass, and then said, "This is Trump's America, you gay N-word." And come to find out, the police found his quote-unquote attackers. Except they weren't white. They were two of his blacker-than-me Nigerian co-stars. This fucking hoax. And he hired a criminal defense attorney. He's gonna need that because he lied to the police as bad as he did. He went on the national television to talk about this garbage. So, that's one of the things that we've had happen today. But, before we get too far into this, I must say that I appreciate all of you showing up. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, supporting the channel just by being here, talking to me, and enjoying my torment. No, I'm not lonely. I have everyone in the chat. So, we just read about Lena Dunham. The last time we read from this book, we read about Lena Dunham's one and only girl crush. And unfortunately, she had about 8 girl crushes. So, I mean, that's that. ASMR reading. Okay, I can talk about that. So there have been a couple of you who've been asking for Antwon ASMR. And I don't have a problem doing Antwon ASMR. But you see, I have a goal set right now that's got 5 days to go. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be made. After that, I'm going to set up a new goal. And if I get that goal met, I will do an entire video of ASMR. No, Ben. The Lena Dunham, the book. I should use this to throw at people because it's horrible. I'd rather read 50 Shades of Grey straight than read more of this that you're forcing me to read. So, but that's as far as I'm going to go with the ASMR. I actually have the first Five Nights at Freddy's book. It's not very good. But I think Ishtar has them all. You want me to read Crash Override in ASMR? You devious bastard. Oh, that's not even right. I mean, you can pay for it, Ben. Although I'm upping the ante for that one. Wren, shush. Alright, let's get this started. So like I said, we just learned about her multiple girl crushes. But now, the next chapter is just called The Best Part. No, you know what? Forcing someone to read this book violates the Geneva Convention. I don't think this is working out, he says. I think we'd be better off as friends. Oh no, Zoe Quinn wrote a book. It's called Crash Override: How I Save the Internet from Gamergate or something like that. Yeah, she wrote a book. It's horrible. It was supposed to be... It was optioned for a movie, believe it or not, with Zoe Quinn being the star. Scarlett Johansson was being looked at to play Zoe Quinn. And if anyone has seen Zoe Quinn, they know how wrong that pairing is. Believe it or not, I think Zoe Quinn should be played by Schmeagol. Alright, it's 7th grade, and we've just come back from winter break. On our last date, we walked up and down the street, holding hands for a few hours before going to Haagen-Dazs to wait for my mom to pick me up. I know I like him because when his teeth filled with seeds from a very berry smoothie, it didn't gross me out at all. Next Wednesday would have been our 6-month anniversary. Okay, I squeak before throwing myself into the bosom of Maggie Field's blue fur coat. She smells like cotton candy, and she feels so sorry for me, leading me into the girls' bathroom on the 12th floor and petting my head. He was my first boyfriend, and I feel sure I'll never have another. We can only hope, but for the fact that we're more than halfway through this book, we know she's had many, and she wants to breed, which again is a problem. Maggie has had 3, and all of them disappointed her. What a dick, she says. What are we going to do to him? Her Brooklyn accent only comes out when she's angry. This is the best part. I can't do this anymore, I say, and crumple against the window. He sits in the driver's seat of his green Jeep, wondering what I'm so upset about while I cry behind my sunglasses. We park in silence, and he leads me back to his apartment like I'm a little kid in trouble. We shut the door, and he fills a mason jar with water and tells me I'm the only person who has ever mattered to him. He says he knows I feel the same way, his face contorted in the only display of emotion I have seen since we met. Finally, after 3 more attempts at ending it, at the beach, on the phone, via email, I sit with my friend Merritt at a sidewalk cafe in Park Slope. It's a little too cold to be outside, and we wear our sunglasses, shrinking down into our hoodies. I pick at my pancakes while she tells me simply, it's okay to change your mind. About a feeling, a person, a promise of love. I can't stay just to avoid contradicting myself. I don't have to watch him cry. So I stop answering the phone. I stop asking permission, and soon he's completely gone. Like being grounded over Christmas break or some other terrible thing that seemed like it would last forever. When you're my age, you'll know how mysterious this all is, he says. He's talking about love. All right, Ali, enjoy your work. It probably is a lot better than this. He's talking about love, and he's only 8 years old. And he's only 8 years older than me. I almost had a slip there. Only 8 years old. Well, with it being Lena Dunham, that could be true. I should have known. It was almost going too well. A bi-coastal relationship. What is this writing? I don't know. She's jumping from breakup to breakup, I guess? He called me every morning on his way to the beach to surf. I described the view from the window of my new apartment, snow falling on the neighbor's garden, local cats whining from their respective fire escapes. I couldn't always remember his face, so my visual for him became my feet, bare and pale and pressed against the wall as we talked for hours. I wish you were here, he said. I'd take you for ice cream and show you the waves. So she's dating her feet. I nodded. I'd like that. Or I'd like to like that. But here I am at his birthday party. All wrong in my mother's black dress. Face red. Sorry. Where was I? Face red, braid greasy. $2 from Cookie. Distraction! Yes. Heels sinking into the soil of his friend Wayne's backyard. The girl who is DJing has 11 buns in her hair, and he is standing by the hot tub talking to another girl in a romper, and I know, as much as I have ever known anything, that my arrival isn't what he'd imagined. Maybe he never really imagined it at all. The next day he takes me on a day trip up the coast that should be romantic but feels like a hostage situation. As we wait in line for fish tacos, I hope against hope that no one can hear him speaking, and if they do, they don't judge me for it. I want more than anything to be alone. Then why did you go visit him, you dumb cunt? I head home, and having concluded this chapter, I am able to relax for the first time in months. After all, desire is the enemy of contentment. From the bathtub, I call Audrey. It isn't going to work, I tell her. I think he thinks he was being really deep by dating a chubby girl. Later, we will find out he was simultaneously courting an actress from television's The West Wing, and that he bought her a cactus. Because that is a good gift right there, buying someone a cactus. How's it going, Mercedes? It will end as soon as I'm done reading this book. I would like it to end sooner than that, but I can't have it end sooner than that because someone paid for it. Yes, unfortunately, 50 Shades of Grey is the next book I'm going to be reading because it was a promise to someone who donated for it a long time ago before all of the things started happening in my life and I haven't been able to get to it. Audrey starts to laugh. What a goon! He is lucky to know you, but too stupid to ever realize it. I still love you, he says, but I have to go my own way. She was dating a MGTOW. Speaking of MGTOW, my next video is going to be something that a couple of people have been asking for. I'm going to be doing a response to the Sandman video again. So, I can't say if that's a good thing or not, but, you should enjoy it. Yes, Sandman. So you want to break up? I ask, trembling. I guess so. He says, I fall to the floor, like a woman in the 12th century fainting at the sight of a hanging in her town square. Later, my mother comes from a party and finds me catatonic, lying across the bed, surrounded by pictures of him and me, the mittens he bought me at Christmas folded beneath my cheek. I am crippled by what feels like sadness, but what I will later diagnose as embarrassment. She tells me this is a great excuse, to take time for myself, to cry a bunch, to eat only carbohydrates slathered in cheese. And that's why Lena Dunham looks exactly like she does today. You will find, she says, that there's a certain grace to having your heart broken. I will use this line many times in years to come, giving it as a gift to anyone who needs it. It depends on the hanging, Mercedes. Oh, this is going to be a quick chapter, so we can get through that part easily. 13 things I've learned are not okay to say to friends. Are you ready for these pearls of wisdom? Number 1. She's chubby in a different way than we are. Number 2. Don't worry, no one will remember this when you're dead. Number 3. Actually, I say number 2 to Sparky quite often. Number 3. No, please don't apologize. If I had your mother, I'd be a nightmare too. Oof. Yeah, that's not something you say to friends. Number 4. It's alright. Honesty has never been... I'm going to start this one over. Number 4. It's alright. Honesty has never really been your thing. Number 5. Maybe you should open a store. That would be a good job for you. Oh no, please tell me she didn't really actually say this to someone. Number 6. Holocaust. Eating disorder. Same difference. I'm sorry, Lena. There's a big difference between those two. There's a very big difference. Jesus Christ. Yes. This is the award-winning, Emmy-nominated HBO director known as Lena Dunham. She believes that eating disorders and the Holocaust are the same exact thing. 20 New Zealand dollars from Scott, no problems. Not quite what I promised, but let the insanity continue while I fest on crackling. Feast on crackling. Oh, crackling's delicious. And then $2 more from Cookie Soda. Another distraction! Thank you. Oh, thank you both of you. Number 7. I googled him and rape autofills after his name. Because that's important. Tell that to Anne Frank. Number 8. But it's different because I actually have a dad. Yes, this is the same father that she told some random person that he stuck a fork in her vagina. Number 9. Come on. Please let me pay for lunch. You don't have a job. That's... So not only does she not pick men who are good for her, but she's pretty much a bitch. Who would have guessed? All you need is 5 more likes and you'll buy merchandise from my store? Which I don't know why Nightbot is not doing his goddamn job again, but... Here, I will put my own fucking link up because Nightbot is not doing his job. And I don't know why. Because he's a lazy bastard. There. There you go. Number 10. There's a chapter about you in my book. Well, yeah, you don't want to say that to people because then they're going to go looking for the book and read the chapter, and when you tell them that you think they're a horrible person in your book, Oh, well, Sparky says that Nightbot was being a bitch to him on Valentine's Day. Sparky, you should take it out to dinner first. He finally showed up an hour into the stream. See, that's why you take him to dinner first, and then you fuck Nightbot. Tom, and I appreciate you sort of shilling and supporting. But, I mean, that was... What's 10%? Are you selling like, are you selling a Black Lotus? If you sell a Black Lotus, I'll definitely take 10% of that. $2 from Scott. Look, Cookie Soda, a nondescript bird in the distance. Number 11. To coincide with number 10, there's nothing about you in my book. Number 12. Oh, hey, your boyfriend tried to kiss me while you were off getting a smoothie. I mean, either that or he was smelling my mouth. That's... Alright. If Sparky takes Nightbot out on a date and makes love to it, won't he have to deal with Nightbot little ones in the future? Well, it depends. I think Sparky is sterile. I'm not sure. Number 13, and the last one of this very, very quick chapter. And this is, remember, something you don't say to your friends. Have a nice life, bitch. That's probably why you don't have any friends, Lena. Alright, so on to the next chapter, which is just titled Grace. I don't know if Grace is a person. I don't know if Grace is what she's trying to get. But Grace. Maybe she's trying to bless food in front of her. I was an only child until I turned 6. I figured, knowing what little I did about reproduction and family planning, that this was how it was always going to be. I had heard the kids at preschool discussing their siblings or lack thereof. My mommy can't have another baby. I think Grace is her sister. Oh god, is this going to be an entire chapter about her molesting her little sister again? Another quote from someone she heard at school. My daddy says I'm just enough. Do you have brothers or sisters? My teacher asked me on the first day of preschool. No, I replied, but my mommy is pregnant with a baby. She wasn't pregnant with a baby, not even a tiny bit, and had to explain as much when the teacher promptly congratulated her on the coming edition. I'll head out at 8 for Hardbastard stream. You should see me if you can get him to do a MSNBC or 2. Oh, okay. Well, I am looking for guest anchors, so I will definitely hit him up and see if he wants to be a guest anchor. Have fun. So, as we just heard, Lena is prompt, is very... She's a compulsive liar, basically. So she lied about... Well, we don't know if she lied about it, but told some woman that her father stuck a fork in her vagina, and now she's telling her teacher that her mother is pregnant. Well, MSNBC is for everyone. It's just funny news. So, there's that. I know he is... I know Hardbastard runs around with Aiden Paladin and her crowd. So, I don't know. But I'll see about it. Do you want a brother or sister? My mother asked me. That night, as we ate takeout Chinese off the coffee table. Is that why you lied? Sure, I responded, as casually as if she'd offered me an extra Mushu pancake. So, unbeknownst to me, my voice tipped the scales, and they began to try in earnest. I continued with my routine, unaware of the storm brewing in the bedroom down the hall, and 2 years later, on a boiling day in June, my mother turned towards me from the driver's seat of our Volvo and said, "Guess what? You're going to have a baby sister." "No, I'm not," I replied. "Yes, you are," she said, smiling wide. "Just like you wanted." "Oh," I told her, "I changed my mind." And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we do not let children make life-altering decisions. Because they don't mean what they say right away, and they change their mind easily. So for those of you who know parents that are pushing their children into that transgender bubble, maybe you should take out a shotgun and fire it above their head. And I do mean above their head, not at them, just above their head. Make them deaf. Yes, like kids doing strip drag. It's not a good thing. It's never a good thing. And anyone who abuses their children like that need to be drug out into the middle of the street and set in front of a semi. And I'm not retracting that statement. Grace came late in January, on a school night, no less. My mother's water broke, splashing the hardwood in front of the elevator. Ew. After which she waddled back to my bedroom and put me to sleep. $2 from Cookie. Hey. Distraction! It's a very nice distraction, Cookie. Thank you. When I woke up at 3 a.m., the house was dark, save for a light glowing from my parents' bedroom. I crept down the hall, where I found a babysitter named Belinda reading on their bed, next to a porcelain doll I had requested from an ad in TV Guide. 5 payments of $11.99, and a pile of wrapped peppermints. Yes, Wren. The only thing a trans kid should know about is Transformers. Robots in disguise. Yeah, I know water breaking doesn't splat. It's... Not everyone knows that that's just a saying. It's not necessarily what it actually does. I think... It's... It's not like a flood comes out of the woman. It's a little bit of amniotic fluid, and that's about it. It makes makes their underwear wet. In the morning, I was walked down Broadway to the hospital, where Grace was the only Caucasian infant in a nursery of Chinese babies. Alright. That's a odd portion of her memory. See, okay, I have a question. And I do want everyone to answer this. Throughout this book, it has been proven over and over and over again that Lena Dunham lies at the drop of a hat. What makes us believe that anything in this book is real? Any of it. This could be a work of fiction, we don't know. I'm hoping it's a work of fiction. No, she wasn't loved as a child. I can agree with that. Alright, where was I? I peered through the glass. Which one is she? I asked. I don't know, the only white one amongst a bunch of Chinese babies. My mother lay in a hospital bed. Her belly still looked as full as it had the day before, but soft now, like a jello mold. I tried not to stare at her reddened breasts hanging from her kimono. She was tired and pale, but she watched me expectantly as I sat in a chair and my father placed the baby carefully in my lap. This was the first time that Lena Dunham truly felt lust, I guess. I don't know. She molested her little sister. She was long, with a flat red face and a bulbous, flaky skull. She was limp and helpless, flexing and unfurling her minuscule fist. I found my new doll significantly cuter. He held up the Polaroid camera, and I raised Grace like I would a prized rabbit at a 4-H fair. I spent Grace's first night at home wailing, "Intruder! Return her!" until I exhausted myself and fell asleep in an armchair. Reading these about her children, about her childhood. She was a spoiled little brat. Like, I know she thinks that she's writing, anecdotes that she thinks are funny, but she's just a spoiled brat. Hold on a second, folks. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take that phone call. It was a little important. So, I'm back. Malevolent Gargano. You made this account so you can watch streams only, so your other account is just for YouTube. Alright, that works. No, my water did not break, Ben. And yes, I went to go bleach my memory. Where was I? Yes, I'm back. Sorry. Did not mean for that to happen. But, you know, things do happen. This is live. So, alright, let's continue on. We were discussing that Lena Dunham is a little fucking brat. So she screamed, intruder, and return her until I exhausted myself and fell asleep in an armchair. The feeling was so sharp, so distinctly tragic, that I have never forgotten it, even though I have never felt it again. Maybe it's the sensation of finding a lover in your spouse's bed. This is how fucked up her head is. I want you to understand that. She is comparing getting a new little baby sister to finding a lover in your spouse's bed. She is already equating sex with her little sister. Because she's a horrible, horrible, horrible fucking person. Maybe it's more like getting fired from the job you've had for 30 years. Maybe it's just the feeling of losing what is yours. From the beginning, there was something unknowable about Grace. Self-possessed, opaque, she didn't cry like a typical baby or make her needs clear, because she's a baby. She wasn't particularly cuddly, and when you hugged her, at least when I hugged her, she would wriggle to get free like a skittish cat. That's because young children have an innate sense of when they're dealing with predators. Once, when she was around 2... Yeah, it does feel like she's writing an Alanis Morissette song. Once, when she was around 2, she fell asleep on me in a hammock, and I sat as still as I could, desperate not to wake her. I nuzzled her downy hair, kissed her chubby cheek, ran my pointed finger along her thick elbow. When she finally awoke, it was with a jolt, as if she had fallen asleep on a stranger on the subway. She woke with a jolt because, like Mercedes just said, she sensed evil. Grace's playpen sat in the middle of the living room. Between the couch and the dining room table I had carved my name into. We conducted our lives around her. My parents talking on twin telephones, me drawing pictures of fashion girls and crazy men. Occasionally I would kneel on the floor in front of her, stick my face into the mesh of her enclosure and coo, "Hi, Grace." Once she leaned in and placed her lips on my nose. I could feel them, hard and thin, through the barrier. "Mom, she kissed me. Look, she kissed me." I leaned in again, and she bit down hard on my nose with her 2 new teeth and laughed. Again, because she sensed the predator that you were going to become. As she grew, I took to bribing her for time and... I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this very carefully. As she grew, I took to bribing her for her time and affection. $1 in quarters if I could do her makeup like a motorcycle chick. 3 pieces of candy if I could kiss her on the lips for 5 seconds. Whatever she wanted to watch on TV if she would just relax on me. Basically, anything a sexual predator might do to woo a small suburban girl, I was trying. I don't... Are you fucking kidding me? And this woman is still walking around? Maybe, I thought,
she would be more willing to accept kisses if I wore the face mask my grandmother had for when she did her dialysis. The answer was no. What I really wanted, beyond affection, was to feel that she needed me, that she was helpless without her big sister leading her through the world. I took perverse pleasure in delivering bad news to her, hoping that her fear would drive her into my arms, would make her trust me. This is a little fucking sociopath. And she's admitting to it. If you don't try so hard, it'll be better, my father said. No, that's how you get a cat to come to you. That's how you get a cat and a dog to want you to pet them. You don't try so hard. What she's doing is fucking grooming her little sister. Oh, it gets better, folks. It gets so much better. And this is the end of this little section, but not the chapter. Here. I wish I had Sparky on here so he could read it in his sexy Sparky voice, because it seems a little bit more deranged than sexy. But I will do $2 from Cookie. Psst. Distraction. Alright. So, I hung back. But once she was sleeping, I would creep into her room and listen to her breathe. In, out, in again, until she rolled away. If this was anyone else doing this, they would be arrested. Scott, I wish that's what happened. I wish that the next paragraph was, and then my parents called the police, and that's the end of this book, and the end of this story, and the end of this person. She fucking groomed her little sister? Are you goddamn kidding me? Not only that, but she put it in book form. And people, listen, Liam Neeson got shit. Liam Neeson got shit for something that he did when he was younger, being angry and full of rage and hormones that one of his closest friends was raped. And he started patrolling black neighborhoods waiting to be assaulted so he could kill someone. This bitch admitted, and people are and people are pissed off at Liam Neeson. We need to put this book back out there and say, look, if we're going to hold Liam Neeson accountable, if we're going to hold everyone accountable for everything they've ever done in their goddamn past, we need to count Lena Dunham responsible for grooming her little sister. Because even if she didn't, let's say she didn't molest her little sister, guess what? She made it extremely easy for another goddamn person to take advantage of her. And she is an award-winning, Emmy-nominated, praised female director. Do you want to know why they're not going after Lena Dunham for this book? Because 1, she's a feminist, 2, she's a pedophile, and 3, she's a woman. And as we can tell in Hollywood right now, with a lot of the things that have been coming out, all 3 of those things mean you get a free fucking pass. I knew some of the stuff that was in this book when Ben paid for me to read it. I knew some of the things, like her putting rocks in her sister's vagina, her saying that she would lay next to her sister when she was younger, when she was a teenager, and figuring things out. I knew about that. I didn't know she flat out fucking admitted to grooming her goddamn little sister, and I didn't think it was going to piss me off as much as it fucking did. She is a horrible goddamn woman. This is disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. Oh, so with that last paragraph, that last whole little section, check this part out. Let's see why. Let's take a gander at maybe why. Let's unpack this next statement from Lena Dunham as to why this is. Grace always intrigued adults. For starters, she was smart. Her interests ranged from architecture to ornithology, and she approached things much more like an adult than with an irksome whimsy of a precocious child. That's because you broke her childhood. You broke her fucking childhood. By grooming her, the way that she believes now, the way that she thinks, is she is supposed to be interested in the same things that older people are, is because she wants them to give her affection, to pay attention to her, because you groomed her that way. You fucking sick bitch. As a little girl, I had been obnoxiously self-aware, which apparently you lost because you're obnoxiously oblivious now. Irritatingly smug, nope, that's the same, and prone to reading the dictionary for fun, and making pronouncements like, Papa, nobody my age enjoys real literature. That just means you're pretentious. And trust me, coming from me, I know what pretentious is. Things I'd heard special people say in movies. Grace simply existed, full of wisdom and wonder, which is why we often found her in the bathroom at a restaurant, talking a 40-year-old woman through a breakup or asking what a cigarette tasted like. Nope. Nope. No. Look, I'm an armchair psychologist, okay? I've just read books about this shit. I don't practice it. The actions of her older sister, someone that she is immediately going to look up to because of how close you are in age compared to her parents, you taught her this behavior. Nature versus nurture. You taught her this behavior. You taught her to seek affection from older people, no matter what type of affection it is. She's talking to a 40-year-old woman in a bathroom by herself. Where are your parents? Your parents need to be fucking arrested too. You are a horrible, horrible woman. And you know what? I wish when this book first came out that more people threw it right back in your face, some of the garbage that you spout in here. And I would love to hear you try and weasel your fucking way out of grooming your little sister to be attracted to people who are attracted to younger people. One day, we found her in our pantry swigging from a small bottle of airplane vodka, disgusted but intrigued. Why not? Let's get her drunk, too. Let's get her drunk and make it a little bit easier for Lena Dunham to get her clothes off and do things to her. On only one occasion did her maturity go too far. It was the dawn of social media, and Grace, then in the 5th grade, asked me to make her a Friendster account. Together we listed her interests: science, Magnolia, rock and roll, and what she was looking for, friends, and uploaded a blurry picture of her blowing a kiss at the camera, clad in a neon one-piece. One night I picked up my computer and it was open to Grace's Friendster messages. There were a dozen or so, all from a guy named Kent. If you love Rem Koolahs, we should definitely meet up. I wonder how this happened, Lena. I wonder how she became so susceptible to predators, Lena. Always the alarmist. Yes, sure you are. I woke up my mother, who confronted Grace about it over whole wheat pancakes the next morning. Livid, Grace refused to speak to me for several days. She didn't care whether I was trying to protect her or what Kent, the ad sales rep, had in mind. All that mattered was that I told her secret. I'm wondering, Lena, if, and this is just a question, if it was you who she was talking to like this, would it have alarmed you as much? Probably not, because it meant you got what you wanted. You need to be thrown in jail. In general pop. With a tattoo on your forehead that says, I'm a child molester. No, Mercedes. From reading this book, we know that Satan would make her feel happy. She likes when men treat her like shit. In college, my dorm mate Jessica started dating a girl. To me, it seemed sudden and rash, a response to trendy political correctness rather than basic human desire. Are you calling your friend a trans-trender, Lena? I know for a fact if someone's used that term in front of you today, you would try and get them fired. Ya bitch. One can only hope... No, she said it before. Her sister turned into a lesbian. Tom. Let's see. She's trying to prove she's just not another Jap, I told people. She broke up with her boyfriend like 2 weeks ago. All she cares about are shoes and dresses. Really? Really, Lena? Are you assuming that lesbians can't like shoes and dresses? $2 from Cookie. Food, con, money, running low, good luck. Yeet. Thank you again, Cookie. Her girlfriend, a pretty-faced, soft butch with round glasses and hunk at the sock hop hair, had graduated already. Hunk at the sock. Okay. Yes, $2 from Scott. Time to take a bath in homemade napalm and smoke. I agree. Hunk at the sock hop hair had graduated already and would drive to Ohio every other weekend, at which point I would have to clear out, sleeping on the floor of someone else's room so they could go down on each other for infinity. Apparently she's in some movies directed by her sister. Oh, God. Let me guess, she gets naked in them. I don't think she's aware of that right now, Wren. I don't think she's aware that bisexuals and lipstick lesbians are a thing at this point in time in this god-awful novel. This stream of consciousness that has words attached to pages. Sometimes I would ask her to tell me about the sex and whether someone else's vagina was insanely gross. 'Cause that's something you ask friends. No, she said, I actually like doing it. It meant oral sex. Grace came to visit me at school one weekend. Oh God, I don't like where this is going. You know, she tried to abort a baby in the movie Sky. I did not know that. Did not know that. By this time she was 15, all legs and eyes and fawn-colored freckles. With shiny brown hair that fell down her back and $200 jeans she had somehow convinced my father she needed. She stood in the corner, laughing and nursing a single beer. Nursing the single beer I had promised her. Oberlin, being a liberal haven where opposition was king, the coolest clique at school was a group of rugby-playing, neon-wearing lesbians. They dominated every party with their Kate Bush heavy mixtapes, abstract face paint, and pansexual energy. Kissing is a dance move, their leader Daphne once explained to me. Do you notice how she described her sister? She's still attracted to her. Even after all these years, she's still attracted to her, so it's not necessarily that she's a pedophile, she's just into sisters. Younger sisters. Lena Dunham is into incest and pedophilia. This is not good. And that night, Daphne noticed Grace. Here we go. Her little puppy nose and big ridged teeth she still hadn't grown into, and dragged her onto the dance floor. And that night, Daphne noted... We're alive, she shouted, and Grace was embarrassed, but she danced. Awkwardly at first, then with conviction, engaged but not overly eager. I watched her from the sofa with pride. That's my girl, she can roll with anything. Your sister's gay, my Jessica announced the next day, folding the fresh laundry spread across her twin bed. Excuse me? I asked. I'm just saying. She's into girls. She said casually, like she was offering me a helpful tip on how to save money on car insurance. And I completely lost it. No, she's not. Just because you're gay and for a second doesn't mean everyone else is too, okay? And not that I care if she was, but if she was, I would know. I'm a sister, okay? I'd know. I know everything. Yeah, that's, I think, yes, unacceptable. Grace came out to me when she was 17. We were sitting at the dining room table eating pad thai. Our parents out of town, as they often were now that we were old enough to fend for ourselves. 23 and sponging mightily, I forked some noodles into my mouth as Grace described a terrible date with a dorky boy from an uptown school. He's too tall, she moaned, and nice, and he was trying too hard to be witty. He put a napkin on his hand and said, "Look, I have a hand cape." That's witty? That's fucking... Are you... Ben, are you still in the chat? If you're still in the chat, I'm going to say it again. This seems to be customary. Fuck you for making me read this garbage. Witty is, look, I have a hand cape. I must be fucking... To her, I have to be a goddamn genius then. She paused. And he draws cartoons. And he has diabetes. He sounds awesome, I said, and then, before I considered it, what are you, gay? You'll think of something worse than this. I have straight read a paragraph of Lena Dunham grooming her little sister, and then letting her have a beer at an older party when she's 15, and getting involved. Excuse me. getting involved with the rugby lesbians. I don't think there's anything worse. Actually, yes, she said, with a laugh, maintaining the composure that had been her trademark since birth. I began to sob, not because I didn't want her to be gay. In truth, it worked perfectly with my embarrassing image of myself as the quirkiest girl on the block. Hence my recurring suggestion that my parents foster a child from a third world background. No, I was crying because I was suddenly flooded with an understanding of how little I really knew about her pains, her secrets, the fantasies that played in her head when she lay in bed at night, her inner life. Something worse than this would be the memoirs of extreme feminists, feminism and their sexual conquest. That is a possibility. She had always felt opaque to me. Opaque to me. I don't know how to say that word. I don't care. Riley Dennis has books? Are you fucking kidding me? With all these idiots writing books, maybe I should try and actually write the novel that I started. It's fiction and more fun than this garbage. Oh. She always felt opaque to me. A beautiful, unibrowed mystery just beyond our family's grasp. As I've stated before, men do not have problem with women's body hair as long as it's not your eyebrows. There should be 2 eyebrows. Yes, I know your minion wrote a book. Ben, the cost of a Riley Dennis book is a lot more than $300. Especially if Riley writes in jump cuts. That's what this novel is. Jump cuts, the novel. I had been telling my parents, sister, grandma, anyone who'd listen, really, about my desires from an early age. I live in a world that is almost compulsively free of secrets. When Grace was 3, she came home from preschool and announced she was in love with a girl. Her name is Madison Lane, she said, and we're going to get married. You can't, I said, because she's a girl. Grace shrugged. Well, we are. Later, this became a favorite family story. The year Grace was gay. The Madison Lane incident. She laughed, as if we were telling any silly baby story. We laughed like it was a joke. But it wasn't a joke, and Grace's admission felt not like a revelation, but a confirmation of something we all understood but refused to say. Throughout high school, Grace remained above the fray. She was president of speech and debate, attending a rhetoric march, then running off to tennis lessons in a crisp white skirt, skeptical of the hormonal hysteria that had overtaken her girlfriends. She's too mature, we thought. Too unusual to get caught up in crushes, we said. We said college will be her time, for satisfaction, for relaxation, for boys. Grace was polite, firm, and unemotional as she answered my questions, continuing to eat her pad thai steadily and check her phone every few minutes. The basics. Where did you know? Are you scared? Do you like someone? Then the ones I couldn't ask. What have I ever said that let you down, that failed you or made you feel alone? Who did you tell before you told me? Is this my fault because of the dialysis mask? No, it's your fault because you groomed her, you sick fuck! Hello, Sarah. You're just in time. Well, I shouldn't say you're just in time. You missed all of the rage. She said she'd already had a romance, a girl named June, who was her roommate on a summer program in Florence. They kissed most nights, and she said they never really talked about it. I tried to imagine June, but all I could picture was a snowy white mannequin in a wig. You were being tortured? How were you being tortured? Were you reading Lena Dunham? Because I guarantee you the torture wasn't that bad. My discomfort with secrets made waiting for Grace to come out to my parents torturous. I begged her to tell them, saying it was for her sake, but knowing it was for my own. Sitting with the knowledge, the divide I created in our home, was too much for me. Because as we've learned from this book, everything is about Lena Dunham. $5 from Mercedes. The price just went up, Ben. $1,000. Not wrong. I had never been comfortable with what was not said, and there was nothing I would not say. But Grace wasn't ready, despite my cajoling and kicking her under the dinner table. I held my tongue, despite my fear that I would have a Tourette's moment and shout, "Grace is gay." I'm sure there is, Zeo Gold. Stabbing out my own eyes would be more enjoyable than this book. One morning, my mother emerged from her bedroom, eyes sunken, hair askew, bathrobe still on. That is what we call got royally fucked look. I didn't sleep at all, she said wearily. See? Fucked. Grace has a secret. I know it. I gulped. What do you think it is? She stays late after school. She ignores me when I ask her questions about her day. She seems distracted. I think... She took a pained sip of her coffee. I think she's having an affair with her Latin teacher. Only if her Latin teacher's name is Andreu... what's her name? Fucking AOC... Cortez. Mom, no, I said. Well, how else do you explain it? Just think, I hissed. Think. I waited, though not long enough, for her to understand. Grace is gay. She cried harder than I had, like a surprised child, or like a mother who had gotten something wrong. A few years after she came out, Grace admitted that the June encounters were a fiction. She made it up. She had invented them as a means of proving to anyone who questioned her that she was really gay. I was relieved to learn she hadn't fallen in love without telling me. Jesus Christ. Grace is graduating from college. The 4 years since she left home have lessened her mystery and deepened her sense of self. She's emerged as a surprising, strange adult, still prone to bouts of moody distance, but also possessed of a high cackle and a desire to have constant and aggressive fun. Sometimes she hugs and tickles me, and her long, cold fingers annoy me. A reversal of fortune I never imagined possible. A reversal of fortune. When she writes, which is often, I get insanely jealous of the way her mind works, the fact that she seems to create for her own pleasure and not make herself known. She dresses like a Hawaiian criminal, loose, patterned shirts and oddly fitting suits, loafers without socks. Her attitude towards sex is more modern than mine, and has a radical element I chased but never found. She wakes up with her hair knotted and leaves the house like that, often not returning home until late. She has a taste for unusual women with strong noses and dull eyes and creative dispositions. She has a strong sense of social justice and an eye for acronyms and contradictions. She is thin but physically lazy.
Guys love her. Alright. Alright. We made it through that. Sort of. I think I lost half a brain. So we're gonna continue on. But this is a quick chapter. It's 10 Reasons I Love New York. Hopefully, this isn't as stupid. Or implicitous. Number 1. Because everything is everyone's business, but every story starts with, there I was, minding my own business. Number 2. Because the rules are really more like suggestions. Number 3. Because it's more than just Manhattan, or even Brooklyn. Places like Roosevelt Island and City Island and Rikers Island. Did you know that there is a commune on Staten Island that has a dwarf chef? Did you know that there is a colonial mansion in Brooklyn where a Japanese surgeon lives with his blind wife? Or so I was told. Did you know that you can buy a tiny turtle with highly contagious salmonella in Chinatown that is so adorable you'll want to risk it? Oh, I'd hang out with her too. To lynch her. You can't socialize justice? Yeah, justice is an individual idea. I get that. The problem is she's a moron. Wren, just to let you know, we got those 5 more likes. So, if you haven't liked the stream already, go ahead, hit that like button. Share this around. Share my torture with everyone else. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. And as you know, since YouTube doesn't do goddamn shit for anything, you have to hit the notification bell so you know when I go live, or you know when I post a video. That's good to know, Zero Gold. Because I think a blind midget could write better than this. Alright, Wren. Oh, no rush, no worries. Number 4. I have a passion for cab drivers. I bet you do. They're all buried in your backyard. I forever stand by the statement that there is no more brilliant, diverse, eccentric group of human beings on this planet than the men, and rare women, employed by the Taxi and Limousine Commission of New York. My father drove a cab for 6 months in the late 70s, and I told everyone in the 2nd grade it was still his job. Because you're a compulsive liar that has no morals about anything. Number 5. Yes, the new uniform for MSNBC. And Sarah is getting drunk on rum chata. Number 5, because everyone hates a suit, even the suits. Number 6, because if I see another film that's a love letter to New York, or in which New York is really the 3rd character in this romance, I'm going to explode with rage, and yet I still recognize that nothing looks better on camera than a Midtown corner in winter or the Staten Island Ferry in high August. Yes, it's still going on, Sparky. There was a small intermission where I had to take a phone call. Am I damaging your sensibilities, Sparky, with still streaming? Number 7. Because of the... Oh, Sparky, you missed the entire chapter where she admitted to grooming her little sister and how her sister is now a lesbian because of it and likes older women. So, there's that. The phone call was from my brother, and it's no one else's business but mine. It's getting there, Sparkster. It's getting there. Number 7. Because of the 24-hour pharmacy on 48th and 8th
where a 3 a.m. plea for a Klonopin refill is treated like buying milk at 5 p.m. in Bethesda. You know, Ben, I did call the suicide hotline. It was really quick, and I basically told them what was going on and what I was doing. And they said, you know what, you called the wrong number. You might want to call 911 so you can talk to the coroner. This is not something we can help you with. Number 8. Because the people may not be polite, but when it counts, there's something better than polite. They're kind. They're always letting you take your tea when you're short on change, or letting you take the first cab if you're crying, or letting you pee when you didn't even buy something, or rushing to your side when you step in a pothole wearing platforms and eat it hard, helping you trap the lop-eared terrified rabbit that had been living in a Dumbo parking lot for weeks, giving you directions home. Okay. That was a little specific. Number 9. Because everyone gets catcalled. Oh no, not catcalling. Didn't we learn that catcalling is the most vile and evil sin that could ever possibly happen? This is one of the reasons that Lena Dunham loves New York, is everyone gets catcalled? For shame, Lena. For shame on you for supporting this horrible, mansplaining, victim-causing crime. You like being catcalled? You like other people being catcalled? Shame on you. And I mean everyone. If you have a vagina, by birth or by choice, you will be called Mommy or Sweetie or Britney Spears. If anyone ever called her Britney Spears, they need to get their eyes checked. And the catcalls can be so creative. Once, my little sister was walking down the street in her thick black glasses, and a homeless man muttered, "Talk nerdy to me." No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You heard that as a parody song, and you used it as a quip in your book. This Zero Gold, you may be onto something. Look, I'm going to talk to Zachariah Jones and see if he gets his info from this book as well. Number 10. Because I was born here and New York is no alien, she is in my gut like an old sickness. Sometimes I'll be walking in Soho or Brooklyn Heights and a smell, some brand of stale air, stops me dead in my tracks. And hopefully a truck runs over you. Bound up in that smell, what it felt like to be dragged home from Baladucci's on a hot night with a blister from my jelly shoe, begging every step of the way for a cab, realizing with horror that I was so close to my house I could see it and still was on foot. The shady view from the window of my dentist's waiting room before she stuffed her fat fingers in my mouth. The day we were so late to school and it was raining so hard that we caught a ride in the back of a soy milk truck. There's soy milk trucks? That's what? Which my mother denies to this day. Sitting in an alley with some guys from a different school watching them smoke. Waiting for my parents to get home because I'd lost my keys and pissing in someone's potted plant. What? Waiting for my parents to get home because I'd lost my keys and pissing in someone's potted plant. What? Looking down and realizing I'm inexplicably up to my knees in mud. The time I took a cab on my birthday and hit an old woman. And she lay in the street, teeth knocked out, while the cab driver held her bloody head in his arms. And I shrunk down low until finally a pedestrian tasked with moving the car out of the intersection noticed me cowering, and I gasped, "It's my birthday!" The time I was in a sundress walking my dog and locked eyes with the guy on a bicycle. He rode right into a parked car and I ran. Each corner is a memory. In that way, it's just like every town. I think we're on the last section. I think it's work. Let me see how long this next one is. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I am not going to get through this. Yeah, okay, so that's going to be it. We are on section 4. I'm going to check real quick if this is the last section, because if it is, I'm going to be very happy, and then I'm going to burn this thing when I'm done. No! There are 5 sections of this god-awful garbage. Fuck. Alright, so we are on section 4. So we are 4/5 the way through this book that Ben Cooper has cursed us with. So, you want me to keep going? Why do you want me to keep going? Oh, no, I'm going to videotape burning this goddamn book. Don't worry about that. You want me to do one more. Why? Why do you want me to... I'm going to read until 5 p.m. my time. And that's it. If I'm in the middle of this chapter still, that's when it ends. So, section 4 is... Section 4 is about work. I hear a Kaduntress. This is supposed to be fun? Making the most of your education. Oh good, we're going back to her... How's it going, Fat Andy? We're going back to her school years, where she molests her sister again. Nobody believes this story. It was the spring of 3rd grade. Our class was taking an overnight trip to a camp called Nature's Classroom, where we would spend 3 days learning about teamwork, ecology, and history in a remote corner of upstate New York. I had been sick about it since the moment I found out, 2 months before. I bet you were. And brought the permission slip home to my parents, secretly hoping they would hand it back to me and say, "No way! No daughter of ours is going to the woods for 3 days. Forget about it." I didn't have friends. Imagine my fucking shock. Lena Dunham doesn't have friends when she's younger. I wonder why. Because kids are a good judge of character and they know for a fact that you're a goddamn sexual predator. What's happening, Fat Andy? Well, what is happening is I am continuing to read Not That Kind of Girl from Lena Dunham, because Ben Cooper, Ben C in the chat, is a bastard, and he paid for this, and I have to do it. And it's melting my goddamn brain. I didn't have friends. Whether this was by choice or not was a question I seemed unable to answer. Oh no, we're pretty sure we understand why you don't have friends. For myself or for my parents, who were obviously concerned. Yes, because they thought you would never get out of the house. I was anxious. I was anxious simply leaving my family for the day and made a collect call to my mother on every lunch period, my stomach tightening when I couldn't reach her. The best news I ever could have received would have been that my parents had decided to homeschool me, to remove all pretense of socialization and just let me spend my days with them in their studios, where I belonged. Really, I hated school since the day I got there. My father often repeats the story of my initial reaction to kindergarten. I came home from the first day and plopped down on my pint-sized desk. "So, how'd it go?" my father asked. "It was fun," I said, "but I don't think I'll go back." He gently explained that wasn't an option, that school is to children as work is to grown-ups, It's what you do. And so I would have to go every day, rain or shine, with only occasional exceptions for illness until I turned 18. Then, he said, you can decide what to do next. That was 13 years away. I couldn't imagine 13 more minutes of this, much less 13 years. How's it going, Pen? But there I was, having made it to 3rd grade, heading upstate in a 15-passenger van while Amanda Delaro showed me a sheaf of pictures of her cat Shadow. Do I think that Lena Dunham took a smell of her fingers after she fingered her own sister? Probably? The first thing I did when we reached our bunk was drop my backpack on the vinyl mattress and vomit. Over the next few days, we were led from activity to activity. We played tambourines, weighed our leftovers before adding them to a compost pile, pretended eggs were our precious babies, and carried them around our necks in padded cups dangling from twine. And then, on the final day, it was time for our faux Underground Railroad. Wow, this sounds like a wonderful, wonderful fucking summer camp. They have their own Underground Railroad. A leftist that hates proper schooling. What else is new? Yeah. How's it going, Moxley? I'm reading Lena Dunham. Again. Because Ben C is an asshole. This is the part that no one believes. No adult would ever do that, they say. You can't be remembering that right. I am, in fact, remembering it perfectly. The counselors shackled us together with jump ropes so we were like slave families. And then released us into the woods. It's not necessarily an activity. It's more along the lines... It's more along the lines of her, the camp counselors, just wanting to get rid of the children and hoping they never make it back. This is so fucking stupid. We were given a map with a route to freedom in the north, which must have been only 300 or 400 feet, but felt like much more. Andy, I don't know. I have no idea. Then a counselor on horseback followed 10 minutes later, acting as a bounty hunter. Where, hearing hooves, I crouched behind a rock with Jason, I'm not even going to try and say that last name, and Sari Brooker, begging them to be quiet so we weren't caught and whipped. I was too young, self-involved, and disassociated to wonder what kind of impact this had on my black classmates. This is the best camp ever. All I knew was that I was miserable. We heard the sound of hooves growing closer, and Max Kitnick's light asthma wheezes from behind an oak tree. "Shut up," Jason hissed, and I knew we were cooked. When the counselor appeared, Sari started to cry. Back at base camp, the counselor who became a bounty hunter became a counselor again and explained how many Americans traveled the Underground Railroad and how many didn't survive it. As he spoke, he pulled out a cardboard timeline of the Civil War, and all I could think was, this is stupid. This is so stupid. No, you're right. It is stupid. It's stupidly amazing. They just want the kids to get lost. This is how all the counselors get together. They send the kids out, and then the one counselor that doesn't have someone that they could fuck is the bounty hunter. The rest of the counselors just go and have a fucking orgy. No, you're not. It's not bad that you wish they actually whipped her. What were we going to learn from being lashed together with our classmates and chased by a pony? Would we suddenly empathize, be able to fully imagine the experience of the American slave? A month after Nature's Classroom, my slave brother Jason B was suspended for casual use of the N-word. The exercise was a failure. No, it wasn't a failure. You gave him a temporary black card. You called him a slave. He is allowed to use that word because he's temporarily black. He was a slave. That's reparations. He can use that word. 5th grade was when you made the switch to middle school, and with it came new privileges, elective classes, and pizza Fridays. And free periods in the library. My 4th grade classroom was across the hall from 5th grade history, and sometimes that teacher, Nathan, left his door open so we could hear him explaining Mesopotamia to a group of laughing 11-year-olds. I'd seen Nathan around. He was the definition of gangly, his hair was thinning, and he cut the sartorial figure of Bob Saget, but he was youthful in the way that he bounded around the classroom, using silly voices like Dana Carvey's, my favorite, and holding contests to see who could say "like" the least. The 5th graders all said he was the best. See? Jacob, I'd like to know what that is. You don't get to just jump into my chat and post a link. It's a Valentine's stream? Okay. Valentine's was 2 days ago. Whose stream is it? Let's see, where was I? Who the fuck is Pink Salmon? Thank you, Sarah. I'm so glad you're keeping me on track here. One day, our 4th grade hamster, Nina, had babies. 6 of them. They looked like chewed up tomatoes, which is what I told our teacher when I summoned her to the cage. I think she barfed fruit or something. Kids crowded around the cage, but by the afternoon they had lost interest. I, meanwhile, became obsessed, particularly with the runt, which was black and white and about the size of a fava bean. I named it Pepper. As Pepper grew, it became clear that there was an issue. Its back legs were fused together by some kind of membrane that looked like pink bubble gum, stretched thin. As a result... Oh God, she just ripped this thing's legs open, I guarantee it. As a result of this deformity, it had to drag itself around by its front legs, and it usually got left behind. Kathy, our teacher, was concerned. Soon Pepper might get beaten to the food bowl, bullied, or worse. Nathan, she told me, was a hamster expert. He had 15 of them at home. Perhaps I could take Pepper across the hall and see what he had to say. I approached cautiously at lunch, carrying Pepper in an open shoebox. I paused at the door, watched him for a moment at his desk hunched over a sandwich, a juice box, and a grown-up novel. "Hello." Nathan looked up. "Hello." I explained the situation in fits and starts, trying simultaneously to convey the gravity of Pepper's case and take in the reality of a 5th grade classroom. He motioned for me to hand him the box. He peered in, picking up Pepper in the confident motion, holding her under her tiny armpits while he examined her lower extremities. He moved a pair of nail scissors from the front desk, and I watched him cut Pepper's legs apart. "It's a she," he said. She was mewing, kicking her newly freed feet. "She'll be fine." Well, I think he just performed surgery on a hamster. The next year, when I got to Nathan's class, I felt like I already knew him. He acted like he knew me too. And he noticed that I loved to read and write and act, and also that I had no friends. He invited me to stay with him for lunch, so I didn't have to stand out in the courtyard with everyone I hated, huddling in the corner to stay warm while sportier types sweated and had to remove their overlayers. We would usually end up talking about books, rodents, the things that scared me. He told me his wife had died right after his daughter was born, and that he had gotten a new wife, but he didn't like her as much. He said it was... This 5th grade teacher just come out and say, yeah, I got married again, but I don't like her. She's a bitch. To a 4th grader. No, a 5th grader. Whatever grade she's in. He said it was hard to find someone you wanted to spend that much time with. His energy shifted. Some days he was calm and funny. Others he was antsy and tense, stopping every few minutes to shoot Nasonex up his left nostril. Stupid allergies. I'd never had a teacher talk to me this way, like I was just a person, whose ideas and feelings mattered. He wasn't just nice, he saw me for who I felt I was, achingly brilliant, misunderstood, full of novellas and poems and well-timed jokes. And you're still not that person, Lena, you never will be that person. Achingly brilliant, you're not. Overarchingly disgusting, you are. He told me that popular kids never grow up to be interesting, and that interesting kids are never popular. Because that's what adults say to unpopular kids. They want to make them feel better. For the first time, I looked forward to school. To the moment I'd walk into the classroom and catch his eye and feel certain I was going to be heard that day. Yes, she actually feels she's more brilliant than she actually is. As much as I have read of this book, Andy, she thinks that she is the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. She thinks she is smart and funny and brilliant. She is very, very fucking self-absorbed. You know, most biographies, you want to come away, the people writing them want you to come away feeling that you're a decent person. That maybe you did something good with your life. Or that you did something interesting with your life. Lena Dunham wants you to come away from reading this book realizing what a piece of absolute garbage she really is. Yeah, Andy. We've already gotten to the part where she talks about her sexual experiences. I don't want to actually see her naked. But apparently she has no problem with it, and she actually enjoys showing people her naked body. If you really want to see Lena Dunham naked, the best thing you could probably do is Google search naked mole rat. Oh no. Alright. This next... He called me my Lena, which became Melina. At a certain point, he started rubbing my neck while he talked to the class. He put a heart on the board every time I said like, but just a check for the other students. No, I don't want to keep reading this. She's being groomed by her 5th grade teacher. I was terrified of what the other kids would think and thrilled to have been chosen. One day he brought his daughter to class and she sat on his lap during lunch, drinking a juice box. Her feet dangling, skimming the floor. She looked just like him in a wig. I wanted to kill her. Wow. Just fucking wow. That winter, Jason B... Yeah, cue the 70s porn music. That winter, Jason B., now seemingly forgiven for the N-word incident, announced he hadn't done his homework. Well, that's a problem, Nathan said, arms crossed. You never make Lena do her homework, Jason said. I froze. Nathan approached slowly and asked me to open my backpack. I unzipped it, terrified of what might fall out. There were piles of unfinished worksheets, half-finished papers, all of which he had just stopped asking me for. He said he'd rather read my stories. You better have all this done by tomorrow, he told me. I picked up a $1 bill that had fallen out of my bag, and I was feeling it. turning it over in my sweaty hand. He snatched it. You can get this after class. Once the classroom emptied out, I approached him. Hi, can I have my $1? He smiled and stuck it down his shirt. Okay, now I don't want it, I giggled, hoping it would calm us both down. He chucked it at me. Jesus, Lena, you're all talk, but when it comes to action... It would be years before I knew what he meant, but I knew I didn't like the sound of it, and I told my mother, who looked like who had seen a parade of ghosts. That fucking pervert, she said, furiously dialing my father. Come home from the studio, now. The next morning, she marched into school with me rather than dropping me on the steps. I waited outside the principal's office, catching snippets of my mom's muddled but distinctly angry voice. I stared at the linoleum floor, wondering whether I was in trouble. After a while, she stormed out, grabbing my hand. We're getting the fuck out of here. 15 years later, I met a man whose daughter was in Nathan's class, at a different school, in a different borough. How's it going, Roxy? Oh, you should watch it, I told him matter-of-factly, trying to sound more relaxed than I felt. He was inappropriate with me. Lena Dunham is the epitome of a candy wrapper. A candy wrapper is an 80s term used for women who talk about sex all the time but never ever put out. I have never heard that before. Huh, that's actually pretty good. His face turned stormy. That's a pretty big accusation. I know, I said, rushing to the bathroom before he could see me cry. I was reminded again that there are so many things we need that can also hurt us. Cars, knives, grown-ups. I was reminded how no one really listens to kids. Oh, there's more. How much more? My brain is almost completely decomposed, Roxy, because of this damn book. Alright, I'm going to stop there. I don't have enough time to read the rest of this wonderful chapter where she describes the creepy Nathan, where she still talks lovingly about, even though he decided he was going to try and molest her. So... Oh god, this whole thing. This whole book is just absolutely horrifying. So thank you for joining me, everyone. Yeah, Roxy, unfortunately you came at the very end. So thank you for joining me, everyone. I know this was kind of an impromptu stream. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I will get done with this goddamn book soon. Hopefully. So I will see you all later. Remember, tomorrow morning is Caffeinated to Die with Matt, Zach, and Tay-Tay. As well as Tuesday nights is going to be Ishtar, Wren, and myself doing MSNBC. And then, of course, Thursday is Army of Snarkness with Sarah, myself, and the trio. So, I don't want to read Movie Bob's book. So, if you can, jump into Renelation's stream. Oh god, it's Saturday, which means it's Shitlords Anonymous. Just be prepared to want to gouge your eyes out, or rip your tongue off. So thank you very much for joining me, everyone, and I will see you all next time.